Welcome back, as always, to Stack Your Points. I'm Matt from the Matt Clausen YouTube channel, joined by RJ from our lovely little show. RJ, how are you today?
I'm doing well. The Packers won on Sunday. Unfortunately, I'm watching the Vikings currently beating the Bears, and I want both teams to draw, to borrow a soccer term. So it's fine, but the Packers are still the best team in the division.
Right now, you don't want them to draw because if they go into a tie, they go into overtime and you could lose your fantasy match.
Okay, that is fair. That is fair. You corrected me with math.
Math is not always your enemy. Sometimes, very rarely, it is your friend. We're also joined by Craig, KidCat37, as always, from our Discord. Craig, how are you today?
I am doing well. It's been a beautiful day, and I'm just excited to see you guys. Didn't see you last week, so it's just nice to see your beautiful faces.
Thank you so much, Craig. We're looking forward to our topics and questions. So thank you there. And finally, last but not least, we're joined by Lonnie from the Call Me Lonnie YouTube channel, not wearing his Uno shirt from members only videos today.
There we go. Come off mute. I'm not wearing that shirt because I think I recorded Q&A video in 3 different settings across 3 different days. So yes, I am wearing a shirt because that was actually not recorded today. And I'm also here because I too did not win the Powerball, so I'm here with the rest of you tonight.
You know what's annoying about the Powerball? The Stewart's gas station that I stop at on Route 9 the most between where I live and where my partner lives, somebody bought a ticket and won $50,000.
Nice. Good for them.
No, it wasn't me, so I am not happy.
No sarcasm. Literally happy for them.
That's fair.
I will say, if I ever win a substantial amount of money, there is not a person outside of like my parents and my accountant that are ever gonna know. I will show up and I will do this podcast, and somebody's gonna edit it. That's not me that I pay that you guys will never know about.
Yeah.
No.
I don't want. I know this sounds bad, but I don't think I could tell my wife because I couldn't trust her not to tell anyone else.
She's just gonna wonder where the money is coming from every month.
I'd hide it somewhere, but yeah, I might have to let you go if you let that cat out of the bag because that just brings in more problems.
The Guinness
My
record
wife and I have
for
already
the
talked about
longest
it.
time not telling your partner you won the lottery.
It's
We
when
have a
she
full
finds the
plan.
account in the Caymans.
Babe, either you are a kingpin or we've won the lottery, and I'm really hoping one of these answers is true. I'm not sure which.
The new house is paid for. What do you want? You want answers or you want to move in? What's it going to be?
Why is the new house 7 times larger with 18 more bathrooms? That's going to be the bigger question.
You
It's
want
paid
answers or you
for.
want to
You
move
want-
in? You only get one. You want answers or you want to move in? You choose answers, you're not moving in.
Wow. There we go. And I am 45,000 True Blue points poorer tonight after doing some bookings for flights. This is
Good
why
for
we
you.
play this game. Yeah, I'm treating me and my partner to even more to and from Detroit of all places, but
Hey,
we have
Detroit
to
has
go.
some wonderful things to do.
We're literally flying in on Friday for a wedding on Saturday and leaving on Sunday.
I understand. I'm doing the same thing for Vermont later this month.
Yeah. That was I booked a hotel, booked a suite in the hotel that the bride and groom have their own block of rooms for. And I just went, no, I'm a book a suite. And then made sure to ask my partner, hey, can you ask the bride if this is okay? Because I just realized that's a thing I should probably ask. Apparently the bride has no problems with it.
No, I don't care. I'm sorry. If you give me a hotel and I want a different room and you didn't get this room, that is a you problem. That is not a me problem.
It's the same thing of know who you travel with because if I have to wait for you in TSA or you can't get in the lounge, wow, that's crazy.
I get to break out the pre-check this time, so I'm excited about that. Not having to take off my shoes. Life's gonna be good. Yeah, so there we go. My True Blue balance is done. I gotta go about rebuilding it, I can always just transfer points. Although True Blue is doing a point sale right now with 130% bonus, so maybe I'll just restock them that way. I'm not doing that. Anyway, as always, we like to jump in and do viewer questions, as we're not going to do a full Marin open. Our first question comes this week from Jay Chains, who asks, when traveling abroad, do you care about multipliers and spending categories when choosing which card to carry, or just carry a 2% catch-all with no foreign transaction fee since you're unsure how things will code in another country? Craig, I'll start with you on this one.
Yeah. I actually favor complexity in my everyday life. I like to min-max things. I like RPGs. I like Pokemon. I like turn-based action games. This is one of those times where I like to keep things simple. And keeping it simple for me is, what hotel am I staying at? I'm probably using that card for everything. Went to London this summer, and that Hilton Aspire pretty much paid for every single thing that I did. There was 2 opportunities where I had to break out the CSR, but other than that, I am of the mindset, keep it simple, right? There's no need to maximize things. You have done all the maximizing to get on the trip. And then additionally, how much are we really spending? Now, if you're going to Nice, France, and you're buying a Birkin bag for 90 grand, okay, sure. But also at that point, you're probably buying an insurance policy, or you're rich enough that you just don't care if something happens to this item. But for everyday things, the thing I'm spending food on is travel and dining. So if I'm not eating, we're probably at an attraction. And I just don't care to maximize that 10 to $100.
No, that makes complete sense. As long as it's a no foreign transaction fee card, I don't think you can be faulted for that. RJ, your thoughts here, though you are the least international inclined traveler of the bunch.
I am, but here's what I will say about vacationing in general. We'll take the international part out of it for a moment because when you're in other places, you also don't necessarily know how it's going to code, right? Cafes can code differently than sit down restaurants, can code differently than whatever. When you're on vacation, that is the week or weekend or whatever that your brain should not think of anything. Now, if you have muscle memory to your surpasses, your dining card or whatever, feel free, right? If it's a no foreign transaction fee and you're out of the US, make sure you're covering that base. Other than that, just live your life, man. Just go, be on vacation. Don't worry about the spreadsheet. Don't worry about maximizing anything. Just be on vacation because we do all of this work to be able to go on vacation, to be able to travel. That time, you're not going to accrue enough points in that week for it to be a huge difference. Unless, like you're saying, like Craig was saying, like you're buying Birkin bags and stuff. But if you're buying a Birkin bag, chances are like your spending is high enough other times that you're going to make up those points. So give yourself permission to have a week where you're not tracking things on a spreadsheet as diligently. When you get home, if you want to do it, awesome. But when you're on that vacation, be present because you're probably either traveling with somebody that you care about or you're traveling by yourself and you should be in the moment. It's going to a concert and just holding up a phone and you're so worried about framing the shot on your phone that you're not actually enjoying the concert. Put the phone down, just relax and enjoy yourself. So that is my answer to this question, being somebody who does not travel internationally.
Totally fair. And no, definitely something to consider for folks. Lonnie, your thoughts here?
First off, before I get into my answer, I can't stand when people have phones at concerts. There's literally no reason. It's going to be saturated by light and the audio is going to be horrible. And the third thing is you're literally never going to go back and watch that video ever again.
Nope.
So you're just missing the show. Use your actual eyeballs and just enjoy the moment. So thank you for that, RJ. But yeah, there's no point to record at it's actually built so that you can't record at the concert. And I think there's a sign that says you can't record at the concert, even though everyone does it. Anyway, there's my music history days coming back. I just ripped a Band-Aid off. Sorry about that. Just went down a trauma rabbit hole. Anyway, when I travel international, I'm also going to follow my co-host. I like to keep it simple. I basically only have maybe 2 cards at most, literally at most, in my pocket when I'm traveling international. Sometimes even when I'm traveling domestically. When it comes to international, it's usually one of my hotel cards at this point, whichever hotel brand I'm just happen to be staying at between the 3 that I own, and then a secondary card. So my secondary card could be an Amex Gold. That's actually like the last resort card because it's, of course, 4x on dining worldwide, even though I can't get the 4x on grocery. I do like to actually go to grocery stores for some reason when I'm international. I'm just that type of guy. I want to see what weird stuff they got in another grocery store. Don't ask why. I do it in Barcelona all the time. They got cool stuff in there. Anyway, my primary international card is my CSR. And that's because it's an everything card. No matter what. It's a travel card, it's a cab card, it's a subway, it's a transit, it's a train card, it's a dining card, it's a hotel card. So I actually enjoy that. So in most cases, it's usually one of my hotel cards. And if I'm staying, especially depending on where I'm staying at, I'm charging everything to the room because that will be the only point stack that I actually care about is charge my morning tea to the room, charge room service to the room, charge whatever next door to the room, the Starbucks at the resort, charge that to the room too, because then I can actually just get the inflated points from that hotel brand by using said card. That'll be the only stack that I actually do, charge it to the room stack. But other than that, no, it's usually just whatever hotel brand, their card I have, plus my CSR. And if I'm feeling nasty, maybe my Amex Gold, but usually I don't really carry that with me because it's American Express, not International Express.
Yeah, that one's going to depend on where you're going. If you're reasonably confident that you're going to have Amex acceptability, Paris, London, no big deal. Stuttgart, probably no big deal. Berlin, no big deal. But like Phuket would probably be a little bit different. Seoul would probably be a little bit different.
And I joke about this all the time, especially with other creators. I think the last 2 times was with Chad and Luke about American Express not being accepted internationally. Hey, and there's some truth and some fakeness there where, as Matt had mentioned, if you're in a tourist area, I've never gone to a hotel that did not accept American Express. Or if you're in a major tourist area, so like in Seoul, around whatever main hotel, the Gangnam district, downtown, that central district, you're not going to have a problem in the franchise or the big places or in like the shopping mall that's attached to it underground. Paris, you're not going to have a problem there either. But when I go to Bahamas, when I go to Caribbean, I go to Mexico, when I go to Indonesia, where else? These places, Singapore's too rich. They actually accept it pretty much everywhere there. But yeah, you get off on the cruise port, yeah, there's a million signs to say that we don't accept American Express. So I always joke about that. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I can find a million places when I leave the country where American Express is not accepted. But that's just because that's the type of traveler I am. I'm not always in the main districts. I like where the locals hang out.
No, that definitely makes sense.
That is 2 tangents, and we just got started, Matt. You are welcome.
Hey, we'll keep going. We're
on the first question, the intro and the first question. I've already hit 2 tangents. Sorry, RJ. It's going to be one of those types of nights, apparently.
Tangents are fine as long as I don't have to cut things. I'm fine with tangents, guys. Just don't make me carve this thing up like a Thanksgiving turkey.
Stack your points. The missing episodes.
Those are some good episodes.
I'm just saying, I'd watch those.
Release the files.
Look, there will never be an entirely live feed of this podcast. That is all I'm saying. The members only full episode is as close as we're ever going to get, guys. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, we can go ahead and put the disclaimer out there that, especially like our last episode, not last week, but the week before last.
We
Yeah,
solved
we
a
said
lot of the
some
world's
things that did.
issues.
Yeah, we said some things that didn't even end up in the members only. RJ said it was too hot. It was too hot.
Yeah. I am the principal occasionally when it comes to this podcast.
I don't disagree that we got a little hot.
A little bit. A little spicy.
That got the little snip.
Let's not continue to tease the audience. All right, so traveling abroad, let me just say, if a 2% no foreign transaction fee card is going to be the thing that sets your mind at ease, that's the card you bring. If you are fine with just like the hotel card or the airline card or the Sapphire Reserve or the Platinum or the Venture X, whatever your main travel card is going to be, if you want that to be the card you bring on travel because that's no foreign transaction fee, like maximizing on when traveling is taking this to like the nth degree. Should you? Probably not. Can you? Are you traveling solo that trip? Just take into account some things where like if you're traveling with your family, make it about your family, right? Don't make it about, oh, we went to this restaurant, so I needed 3 times points here. And then we were at the Spar. So at Spar, I used my saver because I figured that's going to get grocery. And then we went to do random shopping, and that's when I pulled out the Fidelity Visa for 2x on everything with no foreign transaction fees because I wasn't sure that consignment shop was going to code as something. So I made sure to at least get 2x and no foreign transaction fees. Like the simplest thing, one, dumb down your wallet before you travel internationally. Take out any card that's going to have a foreign transaction fee attached to it because you don't want that card in your wallet as a mistake because paying the foreign transaction fee it's not as bad as paying interest. It's not as bad as paying a late fee, but like you're going to be annoyed at yourself for paying that foreign transaction fee. Or generally, if you don't care about the foreign transaction fee, you just want to use that card, nothing's stopping you. Realistically, just cut down your wallet before you head out. Lonnie's mention of use whatever hotel card you're using, use your general travel card. That's a nice simple approach to do it. Kid mentioned the same thing where his Hilton Aspire paid for everything on his trip. Just keep it simple and don't overthink it. As RJ said, like if you're there with family, if you're there with yourself, take everything in. You don't have to take everything to advanced calculus because who are you impressing with that? Yeah, there aren't a whole like if you travel a lot, great. If you don't travel a lot, like savor the time that you get to travel. If you're someone who's infrequent or going once a quarter to a place, great. If you're somebody flying to a new destination every single week, I'm sure you've got this down pat. Like what cards go where, how you're going to maximize this or that, or what point ecosystem you need to rebuild after the latest redemption. And oh man, I burned like 800,000 Hilton points. I better bring the Aspire with me, or I better bring you know what? I grabbed the Hilton Business. That has no foreign transaction fees. Let me grab the Hilton Business for this trip to start restocking my points real quick. If you're a super frequent flyer, you're going to have your system down. Semi-frequent flyer, hotel card, travel card. If you have a no foreign transaction fee 2% catch-all card, great. The only ones that I know of offhand are the Venture X and the Fidelity card. I'm sure there is a Navy Federal card that is a 2% catch-all. The one that's 2% catch-all 3x travel. I'm sure that one has no foreign transaction fees. If not, great. If you're not in Navy Federal, I'm sorry I mentioned that card. But there aren't a whole lot of other cards that I can think of. Oh, the Energy Bank Reserve card. That's another one that is probably 2% catch-all, no foreign transaction fee. And the Fairwinds card. Okay, fine. I've gotten like 4 cards. But don't overthink it. Just keep it simple. Reduce your wallet to the bare minimum number of cards you need to get through things. And recognize how you travel. If you really want to maximize while you're traveling, figure out like the 1 or 2 things that you can get at least 3x on. I can't guarantee 5, but I'll say at least 3, right? if you do a lot of travel spend while traveling, who would have thought? You're doing transit, you're doing trains, you're doing car rentals, you're doing this, that, and the other. Wells Fargo autograph card would be great. The Sapphire Reserve is great until October 25th of this year. If that's something you want to maximize, great. Gas, autograph. But if you don't even want to think that far ahead, you don't even want to think about that, just bring 1 or 2 cards and just go with it. Because there are cards that have no foreign transaction fees that they're reward structures that you think are going to get you like, oh, I'll get 6 times Hilton points on gas. No, you're not going to, because that's US gas on the Hilton card. You got to remember that. So the best you're going to do on the Hilton card is probably going to be 3x, which is fine. And don't worry about that. But don't go into the trip like with the I need this. Just enjoy your time. Or intentionally set your wallet up to do I need this. But me, I'm gonna have my Sapphire. I'll probably have my autograph, and probably whatever hotel chain I'm traveling to. Unless it's Hilton, in which case I'd have to upgrade my Hilton Honors to a Hilton Surpass to get the no foreign transaction fees, or get a Hilton business card. Otherwise, I'm not gonna overthink it. Your Marriott cards also have no foreign transaction fee. There we go. Thanks, J Chains. We'll move over to our next question. It comes from Thick Boy, who asks, so I've noticed that I have some pretty easy go-tos for stacking points. I was wondering if there are any easy go-to methods that any of you go to so you can rack up some easy points. I will turn to the king of point stacking himself, Mr. Lonnie, for kicking us off with this one. Oh yeah, no, you're the king.
Point stack king of point stacking. That's not a title tonight.
From Point Stackington.
I like mine better. Anyway, I'm going to give you 6. And these first 2, if you're not doing them, you're not in the game. You don't. This is the price of admission if you want to start point stacking. First is shopping portals and extensions. If you're not using shopping portals or shopping extensions, don't even approach me. You're not in the game. It's literally one of the easiest things to do. And I know you shop online because it's 2025. The other one, dining programs. If you don't have the 3 seconds to add your card into one of 12 dining programs, you're not in the game. It literally just takes a set it and forget it. And then you just end up going out. And I got points from Papa John's this weekend, just ordering online at that. So I actually point stack that plus use the Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant $25 credit for the month. Got points, and other than my annual fee that I already paid for, cost me nothing out of pocket. So those are the first 2 that I would start off with. And those are, like I said, they're super easy to set up and they're super easy to use. They're both just set it and forget it. The next one, as I just mentioned in the last one, charge to the room. If you're going to stay at any type of hotel, it can be a Hampton or a Holiday. It could be a Conrad or a Waldorf. You can charge something to the room. You need, I wouldn't say water, because you can just ask for that. And usually they just give away free bottles of water. They went to the same Costco you did and just hand them out. So don't ask for water. But everything else, charge it to the room. If you can, charge it to the room. I was at a hotel earlier this year, and they had a Benihana in the lobby attached to it. Charge that to the room too. Which actually takes me, I'm going to come back to that one because that's my number 5 that I wrote down. Number 4 is gift card hack. Grocery store, convenience stores. The only negative side is if you need to make a return, you're going to get a gift card back, and you're also not going to get the credit card protections. But if you're using something like a Freedom Flex, you don't really get those credit card protections anyway. You're not losing anything. I'm talking about like return protection, price protection, those types of things. And if you're not going to do the gift card hack from a grocery store or a convenience like a Walgreens or a CVS, there's always the good old-fashioned United Mileage Plus X app. I brought it back. We haven't talked about it in a while on this show, but if you fly United, seriously, I even used that at Papa John's this week. Like I told you, man, I was eating for free. I probably got like 600 miles just from ordering a couple of pizzas and some breadsticks. I'm not even gonna lie. Coming back to charge it to the room, my fifth one, if you're with trustworthy people, you pay for everything and let them pay you back. That is by far one of my favorite ones. Like I said, you got to throw in the trustworthy people one. So like when I go like with my best friend and his family, he already knows. We're like, oh, we're gonna split it. Don't have the waiter or the waitress split it. Put all that on my card or my gold card, and you just send me the money that you're gonna pay anyway. It's $200. We're gonna go 100 each. Cool. You just send me $100 and I'll just pay for the bill tonight. So much easier, and I just got all those points from him. He doesn't even. He has a CSR, but he doesn't even have an MX Gold. But he knows that I just played him. He knows it every single time, but he knows what I'm doing. He's like, yeah, I got to respect your hustle. So the people that know you, especially the ones that you can trust, will send that money. Once again, if you're at a restaurant and they're going to send it to you before your cars leave the parking lot, those are the people I'm talking about. Not the ones that say, I got you tomorrow. Nah, go ahead and split that. Go ahead and split that tonight. You'll never see that money again. And then last but not least, this doesn't pertain to everyone because you have to have 2 tickets to enter. One is a built card. Not necessarily have to have a built card. You at least got to pay rent. And that is pay with any card with built. Yes, there's a 3% buy-in fee, but you can get all the points from like your Freedom Unlimited or a 3X like hotel card, plus 50% of those points added on in built points for that 3%, which of course is a major come up. So there's 6 of them for you right there that are literally effortless, completely effortless.
Thank you, Lonnie. RJ, any additional stacks that are go-tos for you?
Yes. Use Rakuten and use anything but an Amex card. If you like other ecosystems, get some MR points on the side, and then whatever you want for that website. Again, this is not super advanced. You probably all know this. But it's a good reminder, like, if you have a bunch of MR points and are interested in other ecosystems to build your points, you don't have to use an Amex card to get the Rakuten MR points. You just need to set it to MR points and then get whatever the minimum is to transfer it over every quarter. So if you're trying to build IHG points and you're using your IHG card for everything, put your IHG card in, use that card for the thing, and then you're getting 2. 2 is better than 1. I can do that math all by myself.
And RJ, I think you make a great point. And the reason why I'm jumping in real quick is because people ask me all the time, it's like, how do you get like a transaction that's 20 chase points? And I'm like, a point stack doesn't have to be all one ecosystem. So everyone remember that you can get your, in like RJ's case, you can use Rakuten to get your Amex points, your IHG card to get your hotel points. And you could, I could even go in United Mileage plus X. This is why I love it. And get United Miles all in the same transaction. All in the same transaction.
Yep. And if you're going to the grocery store to do a quick grocery store hack, use your grocery store's loyalty program as well. Get you some additional cents here and there. Maybe a free turkey around Thanksgiving.
I like
or a free
that you
ham
bring that
around.
up. I never talk about it, but
Easter.
so my grocery store is a Safeway. And every so often, they actually in like the Safeway loyalty thing, they're like gift cards, 10x or 15x for Safeway points. And I'm like, I guess I'm gonna buy that Amazon gift card today. It comes with my groceries next visit, so screw you guys. I'm gonna make points to save money.
What? The Freedom Flex welcome offer is 10x grocery for a year? Yeah, we're going to Safeway today.
Oh yeah, my wife had that 9x on grocery for the first year. We melted that card. Melted it.
Yep. Craig, anything that we're missing?
No, I'm going to bow out to the king.
Yeah, the only other thing I would say is utilizing some tools like a cashback monitor just to double check which of the shopping portals and shopping extensions are going to be the best return for you. And also you can look into that as a, oh, I need points in this particular ecosystem. Am I getting 4x Apple this week today, or am I getting 3.5 points in Apple today? Oh, but that 3.5 points is also coming with 3.5 loyalty points per dollar. So I may as well go American Airlines if American Airlines is something that you're looking to build into. And that's why American Airlines is always like a half a point on Apple cheaper than, or like less than the other airlines when they all do 4x Apple for the day, because American Airlines is also slapping in status points with you for you on that. So that's where they're making that a change. Top cashback, always a good route. I say if you're going to take the opportunity to purchase points in whatever ecosystem, go through top cashback first, because you're going to get 2.52%. Rakuten, you're going to get 1.25. In looking at Rakuten, always look to see what their in-store offers are as well, so you don't have to purchase online. You can go in-store and make a purchase and still get the Rakuten points as well. That is an option for you. Grocery stores, gas stations also have their loyalty programs. Make sure that you add those. I pay 7 cents less per gallon for Speedway gas. I go to Speedway specifically just to pay 7 cents less. Other programs will let you pay 10 cents less. You stack that with Upside's gotten cheeky with doing that lately, but you used to be able to do, if Upside was offering you 31% cash back at a gas station and you used your loyalty, you're able to double dip there. At the moment, it seems like you're not able to do that, but Upside's still a good way to get some extra cash, juice some extra cash back with things like gas, grocery, dining. Yeah, and then go through utilizing a tool like Cashback Monitor is going to give you all the companies that have shopping portal shopping extensions, whether it's Honey or a travel program that I've been very interested in lately. All across the board, you're going to be able to see what your point value will be for the point stacks. Oh, and Chase. Chase has its own shopping portal. Check out the Chase shopping portal. They don't have nearly as many brands as Rakuten, but if you got to buy something and Chase has 20x Chase points through their shopping portal, go through Chase, slap it on the Freedom Unlimited or the Ink Unlimited, and get 21.5 points per dollar if they're offering you a 20-point offer. That will all stack as well, and that is a quick way to build up some Chase points. You may not get like other extensions or anything like that, but like 21.5x is 21.5x. Like, who's to complain? So check those out. I wish the Chase shopping portal, yes, put a shortcut into your browser of choice, but I just wish it was a lot easier to get to and a lot easier to utilize. I wish it had its own app and its own website, but neither here nor there, I guess. Chase just likes being a pain in the butt. But yeah, those are the other ones that I would throw in there as well. All right. Cool. Thanks, Thick Boy. We'll move over to our next question. Comes from AP, who says, my apologies. I have a long-winded question about points and kids. Do you think we are setting up our children for unrealistic expectations as it relates to travel, or I suppose is it good or bad to spoil them by traveling so much? I know we are aware of the benefits of traveling and seeing the world in different cultures. I guess the question is, do you think there is a downside? More recently, I let my daughter choose the hotel. I vetted the options and had two very good choices. Have you or do you ever let your kids have autonomy in how you and your family travel? I will turn to, it's weird because I have the oldest child on the podcast. Just for me, I don't know that I'm setting up unrealistic expectations when it relates to travel. My kid says she wants to go to the hotel for a pool. I'm going to set up going to a hotel for a pool. I'm going to keep it relatively budget, because even if I lived in an area where I could go to the Mandarin Oriental, I'm not booking the Mandarin Oriental for a night for a pool. That is silly. I will book the Hampton Inn. I will book the IHG, whatever IHG property is cheap. I won't necessarily book the Quality Inn because the Quality Inn's not going to have a pool. And if it is, it's probably an outdoor pool. And no, but I'm more likely just going to grab like a Hyatt Place, a Hyatt House, something relatively low end and cheap. So in that, I'm not setting really unrealistic expectations. Travel abroad, like I'm not at a point where I'm willing to give my kid autonomy in a picking a hotel or picking accommodations or anything like that with the trip. My kid just wants to swim. Like anywhere I can set her up to swim is good for her. If I don't book a hotel that has a pool, I have failed. That is all. So I don't know if I'm setting up unrealistic expectations. Like the biggest thing is just going to be in time. If my kid is interested and has a fascination, also growing up with a or having a child with that is neurodivergent, I don't know where her interests are going to lie. So I can't dictate, I can't like teach her the game unless it is a fascination for her at that point. Bigger things are going to be teaching her how to properly budget in time, teaching her that this can be a tool with budgeting, but I am nowhere near that point, and I don't know when that's ever going to be a possibility. So for me, I'm not really worried about it. I'm going to book what I'm going to book. I know the rules that I have to book around currently with my child and given my child's needs, but I'm not I'm not planning on giving her any autonomy until beyond. I need to make sure that at least there's a pool at the hotel. Anything else, they're not going to dictate first class. They're not going to dictate premium economy or anything like that. Like I will work on those accommodations. I will work on just making sure we have a pool. So for me, I don't know that it's good or bad to spoil them by traveling so much. Like I don't travel nearly as much as some of my co-hosts. I also don't travel with my child nearly as much as some of my co-hosts. But when I do travel with my child, I do try to make sure that everything works out relatively well. And the only need that they have is they would like a pool at the hotel. They would like to go swimming as often as possible. As long as I do that, I win. That's where I fall on that. Craig, any thoughts here for AP's question?
Yeah, and this I realize may sound a wee bit tone deaf, but any trip that I go on is a trip that I would pay cash for, right? And I realize that that is a luxury that I have. Granted, points and miles allow me to do it quicker, but any trip that I've gone on with points and miles, I still would have gone on and paid cash. I may have had to wait a little bit longer to get the finances in order, but I don't travel because of points and miles just so happen to be a tool that I use while traveling. And I think for me, my son has just realized that he is his own real person. He's discovered that farts are funny. That's the thing right now. I'm not letting him pick a hotel. That's not a concern for me for at least a few more years. We have gotten to the point now where we're potty training, so it'd be nice for a hotel to have a toilet. But other than that, he doesn't have any real requirements. The only other requirement I might have is that there might be a pull-out couch or a second bed for him to sleep on because having a person that sleeps like a Power Ranger in the same bed as you is just absolutely miserable for an old man's back. But for me, I don't think it's setting unrealistic expectations. I think, for example, if you drive, and I'm stealing a analogy that one of my co-hosts, RJ, used earlier, but if you drive a certain brand of car and your kid sees you driving that certain brand of car all their entire life, if they decide, well, I want something a little bit nicer, and that little bit nicer is a Lamborghini, that's a different conversation. But I think setting realistic expectations is just fine, especially as you consider, hey, this is what I want my quality of life to be. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that.
No. Yeah. It'd be weird to go from just a really nice, I don't know, Ford or like a really nice tricked out Ford to then have to have a Lamborghini as your basic economy type car would be weird.
And also, one thing I will say, for me, sometimes people will say, oh, you do things that are a little bit more luxurious. I don't consider them luxurious because they're things that just happen to be necessary for my comfort. I am too old and I have worked too hard to be uncomfortable while I travel. I have a 2-year old that follow me here, is 41 inches tall. He is going to be massive. He is the size of quite literally the average 5-year old. So when people see him, they go, oh, a little behind, isn't he? No, he's 2. And they go, oh. So it's nice for my son to know it is okay for you to pay for a first class seat so you are comfortable.
My 5-year-old is like 47 inches tall. So that, and like she is tall for her age, and 41 inches at 2.
41 inches and 36 pounds with not a lick of
Oh,
fat, just
yeah.
weird,
Yeah.
oddly ripped muscles.
No, mine is not that wiry. All right, Lonnie, as the final parent, your thoughts here, and then we'll close out with RJ.
My 2-year-old's 39.5 inches tall. What's up with these tall ass 2-year-olds, Craig?
Something in the water.
No, I get the same thing, and they're like, "Oh, isn't he like 4?" I'm like, "No, he's just standing next to a 4-year-old."
Exactly.
Anyway, I would also like to give AP a quick. He's going to roll over to a platinum elite member as a member of my personal channel. And before you can get started, Craig, you're hitting platinum this month too. All right,
I was about to say it must be nice.
it's coming this month. All right, finally, much heat. I'll make the calendar. Anyway, my son's too young to pick out a room. Like he's not involved in that process yet. So I'm not too worried about that. But to answer your question, I would actually say to an extent, yes. Yes and no. I'm going to lean in on the yes side because I've said this a couple of times, but my son will probably never have to fly in the back of the bus middle seat in front of the bathrooms. Like he's just not, probably for his entire life. He hasn't so far. And by the time he's grown, and I'm going to get to this part in my answer, he'll know how to avoid that, or I have him set up for success so that he won't have to do that. Yes, I fly United a lot. He already has his United account. This after he was born, and I created his email. I went and created a United account because we were already getting on flights with him. And if you pay for the seat, someone should be getting the miles. I don't care. It's one of my biggest pet peeves when I talk to families or see families on flights. When we have the points conversation or the travel conversation or whatnot. But I'm like, do your kids have freaking flyer numbers? And they're like, oh, no, only just me and mom and dad do. And I'm like, yeah, you're throwing miles away. You're just throwing them away. Like you could be setting them up. I don't know how many my son will have by the time he's 18, but I unjokingly, I'm like, I'm going to give him the password to his account on his 18th birthday and be like, go have some fun. I'm actually enticed to see how much is going to be in there. Like, he's 2 and has more status than most of the people on the airplane already, which
Dude, I
take that as a sense of pride, actually, to be able to say that. But that just means because we travel a lot. So it's not like a flex or anything, but it's, man, cool. He already has a United status. It's going to die off in next year, but still, I mean, in 2027, but he's 2 and has status with like Royal Caribbean and United. I think that's pretty cool. He has no idea what that means. Royal Caribbean does not expire, so he has that for life. And if I can help him get to million miler status start now, then absolutely. So yeah, I hope he never rides in the back of the bus or in the middle seat or have to sit next to a bathroom, unless he's sitting in first class, business class, where they have the bathrooms are right there. Same thing about he understands pre-boarding upgrades, the food and the snacks of like premium economy and first class already. Like he knows, oh, are we sitting in the big seats? He'll actually ask me that. He never had to stand in a line to board the plane yet. So he's just, oh, they said they're ready to board, and he just like starts walking up to the desk with his little tablet or his backpack. It's the cutest thing ever. I'm not gonna lie, I got videos of it. It's the cutest thing ever. But to him, it's normal. It's not, I've ruined it for him. I've made it normal. And the reason why I say it in that manner is because we've all had said the statement about man or woman being high maintenance, right? Now, there's nothing wrong with being high maintenance. I've called myself bougie. RJ is the same thing, especially around her travel. She was willing to go extra money out of pocket for those experiences. There's nothing wrong with it when you're the one maintaining that high maintenance. And so with that, I will teach him my ways as he grows because it's normalized. You get this, you would get X because of Y. And as he gets older, he'll understand, oh, dad got this from this credit card, or dad got this because we travel like this, as I can educate him on it and whatnot. And so I don't necessarily say I'm ruining it for him, but I am pre-educating him on it. And so on top of that, when he is finally old enough to go solo dolo, by that time, we've already had the conversations where I've set him up for credit score financial success. Like, I'm not just going to put him out there in the wind. I'm already putting money aside for him, making sure that he won't have to get in the student loan trap. I will authorize users so he can piggyback my credit score. These types of things is what I'm referring to. So he'll already have that success, but he'll be so used to it where he won't have the apprehensiveness of applying for a credit card or applying for 4 or 5 credit cards, having a sock drawer of 10 credit cards, because it was normal for him to see mom and dad do it and have the understanding of how that happened. So hopefully he'll want to continue it himself. So by the time he's old enough to get in the game, dad got this card and this gave him status, or this card gives him points and all this other stuff. And so by the time he can do it on his own, he's more excited to actually do it. And by showing him how to do it, by educating him along the way, aiding him how to do it, understanding the how behind it, I don't necessarily say I wouldn't necessarily consider it ruining it, but like, as I started my question, to an extent, yes. But the yes is I'm teaching him how to beat the game. I'm teaching him the game early on. As he grows into it, he's never not going to have life outside of the game and then have to learn it. He was born into the game is what I mean. And so with that could, yes, ruin it. But at the same time, there's what, like I said, it's more of a normalization. It's a lifestyle. So that's why there is a yes to an extent, but no, I don't think we're actually ruining it. But a further no is we don't know what it's going to be like in 15, 16, 17, 18 years where that could ruin it. Where you need 100 points and you spend $100 and you only get 1 point with inflation. Who knows? And Amex Platinum card, it'd be $15,000 a year at that point.
Yeah, hard pass on that.
That's cheap.
No. I will piggyback on something you did mention, though. If you have young kids, it doesn't matter how old your kids are. If you are able to set up an account, well, it does to an extent. If you're able to set up an account with them with the airlines that you fly the most, set up frequent flyer numbers for whatever airlines you're flying with your kids. My child is signed up for JetBlue. She signed up for United. I've signed her up for Air Canada. I've signed her up for all sorts of partners in Star Alliance. I think I've even set her up with a Delta number.
Free.
Yeah, they're free
Yeah.
accounts. You can hold on to them forever.
As long as
I've
you
got them.
main activity, of course, except for
Yeah.
United doesn't expire.
Yeah, any miles accrued in those accounts, like you do have to follow the account rules just to make sure that you keep those points active. But having the account is free. And if the airline has a lifetime mile flown with them, that is never going to expire. So just keep that in mind, keep that as food for thought. Sign your kids up for whatever airlines you're flying, add them to your itineraries, and they can work for family point pooling as well.
100%. I was going to say, my
On
kid has AA Platinum Pro status and United Gold, and those
whoop,
miles
whoop.
are valuable.
Do you take your kids miles, Craig? Do you pull them without them knowing?
Those United miles, absolutely. The American, yeah, I don't need those.
Also, to piggyback what Matt said, don't get it twisted. There's actually no age limit to the frequent flyer account with 3 major airlines here in the U.S.
Yep.
Now, as long as that child is under the age of 2, you do not need to buy a ticket for them. They can be a lap child. There's no miles for lap children. But what my wife and I, what we did with our family was the middle seat hack, where I would book the aisle. Then if we were booking economy plus, that is, I'd book the aisle, she'd book the window, and then nobody wants to like book the middle seat. And if nobody booked the middle seat, literally like the day before the flight, either call in or get to the airport. Whenever you get to the airport, go straight to your gate agent or whoever and be like, hey, we're a family and that middle seat's open and we have an infant. And then usually they won't put somebody there because of that reason. So for the first 2 years, he got his middle seat for free, but he didn't get miles because we didn't pay for that. The reason
Right.
why I would say this is because there are a lot of people that travel with car seats with their infant, or they'll buy that seat for the infant just so they have that space. If your kid is 2 days old and you put a seat or bassinet, you paid for like a car seat or a bassinet for them, they get miles because you paid for that seat. So make sure you create an account. If like I had mentioned, if the seat is paid for, someone should be getting miles for it. Period. Full stop.
Yep. Absolutely. RJ, any final thoughts here?
Yeah, I actually have quite a few. So I have no children of my own, but I do have a niece and a nephew.
That counts.
One's 16 and one's 15. So they're old enough to actually engage with stuff a little more directly, which is cool. My gift to my niece and nephew is when they graduate from college, because they both want to go to college to do professional stuff, I'm going to take them on a trip. So we're already starting at 15 and 16 to talk about what that trip's going to be and talk about, I'm not going to change how I travel for their trips, right? Like they know me well enough to know that. So we're talking about things where I'm explaining to them, because my nephew saw my wallet and saw a bunch of cards in it, why I have the cards I do, right? I'm already starting that, even though they're not my kids. Like I can't really put them on AUs or anything like that, but I can explain to them how these things work. And they do travel with their parents, right? So I can start explaining that to them. I can start those conversations in a way that is not me parenting them, but is me explaining a thing that I do and they're interested in because they're at an age where they can engage with it. So that is something that I think just having the conversations with your kids when they're old enough to explain it's not free, but you gotta buy food, you gotta buy gas, you gotta do all of this. When you get to a point where you're old enough, if your parents won't make you authorized users, when you get to the point to have your own cards, use them effectively. This is why you might want 2 credit cards at 18, not because you want to max anything out, but because you get maybe a saver and a venture card, right, for $95, or I'm blanking on other options. Those are just the 2 that came to mind. Of put everything on this card except for these categories, put it on the saver, use it this way. just explaining those basics to them so they have some concept of what's going on, of why I'm doing this. When I'm with my nephew, who's the 16-year-old, like when I am with him and I pay for something, I explain why I'm using that card because he's interested in it. He loves math, so for him, it's interesting. So I have those conversations with them, right? I make the joke all the time that I don't fly unless I'm in first class. Like, they understand that about me, right? And they know how I live, they know where I live. So it's not something that is shocking to them. So having those conversations and explaining, like, all of that information to them, they will absorb it, right? They will understand this is how I live. You guys know where I live. You know where I'm eating. You know what I'm doing. And you know how I travel. So they can see the cause and effect of that. Also, I know this question is about kids, but I've had to do this with my parents. I have ruined my mother. My mother now expects first class. She expects nicer hotels. She expects all of this at this point. Not because she wants me to drop a bunch of money, but she knows what I do with points. And she is great about if there's a major expense and I have a card that I'm working a sub for, the deal is she will let me use my card for the sub and reimburse me as long as those points go to a family trip. So
That trusted
again,
person.
exactly. Like there is simpatico. There's something there, right? So the thing is, yes, I understand you're talking about your kids, but like other family members that you may travel with regularly, and Lonnie's talked about his mother-in-law having TSA pre-check or she's just getting left behind. There is something to that, right? And like I laugh that my mom is spoiled by first class, but she also, I made her a Delta account, partly so she always has her ticket with her, so I don't have to worry about paper tickets, and partially so she can accrue miles. Because I book everything, but I put her Delta frequent mile number in, so she's accruing miles. She has silver status for next year. Like, she is getting that status because I have done the work for her. And yes, she understands the basics. Is this really her thing? No. But I have done that work so she can get that benefit off of it. So, again, I know your question is more about kids. I don't think you're spoiling them, you're just teaching them. And teaching them a life skill is great. If you are really good at cars and you teach them how to maintain cars, that's not cheating. That's just teaching them a life skill so they don't go to a mechanic and get ripped off. Teaching them how to travel is exactly the same thing. Like, it's cooler. It's objectively cooler to go on a trip and be able to book first class on points than like to know how to change your oil. That's just cooler objectively, I would say. But they're both life skills that you're teaching your kids. My grandmother taught me how checkbooks worked when I was 7 because she had a flower business. So, like, she taught me all of that stuff. Like, again, was it cheating? But it's also just a life skill. I think worrying about I'm spoiling my children, I'm ruining this for them, I think you're missing the point is you're just teaching them a life skill. It's just a objectively cooler life skill. So worry less. Teach because they're going to spend money. So teach them the skills. And then when they're older, help them out. If they're not interested in this and they never use it, oh, if they do use it, awesome. So I would worry less. That is my ultimate point on this one.
Also,
Teach
I
me.
want to move us to a petition to stop saying that we are bougie. I think we just have a different standard. When somebody says, "Oh, why would you waste that money?" I don't want to hear anybody else saying, "Why is RJ wasting money on a first class flight for a domestic first class?" Because she wants to,
My
right?
ass would fly first class to LaGuardia, which is an hour and 15-minute flight. I do not care. My butt is more comfortable. And at my age, at the geriatric age that I am, I'm going to be comfortable.
And
I
you
will pay
should.
for comfort. Here's the thing, we all pay for the things that are important to us. Comfort is important to me. Comfort is important to my co hosts. I will not pay for certain things that people think are crazy, but I will pay for comfort. I will pay for time and comfort. So, guess what? I'm paying for first class to LaGuardia. And guess what? I do not care what you think.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sign your petition. I'm bougie. I'm gonna own it. I'm gonna put it on a t-shirt. I'm gonna put on. I'm gonna wear my trucker hat facing to the front that has bougie written on it. I
But
ain't
is it
bougie.
bougie if it's just like
I
the
like
standard that I
fancy.
have? Because like
I'm
when
a
people say
fancy
that they're
lady.
high maintenance,
No, so here I'm gonna answer that question or respond to that, Craig. Is especially what I know of you and what you know of me and the neighborhoods where we come from, we have stayed on the other side of the spectrum. And
100%.
now we choose not to. And it's that choice in which I will define as bougie.
Fair enough. I'll give you that one. I look at it as I have friends that their big trip is they go to Miami and I see the little thing, the Kawa or Kawa, whatever it is, on the bottom of their pictures, and I go, wow, that's crazy. I have no desire to be drunk at 2 o'clock in the morning on a boat. Actually, I do, just not those boats.
Now, I'll take it one step further though. So when it comes to St. Regis, Ritz Carlton, Four Seasons, $3,700 a night, not that bougie. Not that bougie. That's a different
Now
level.
that's points bougie.
That's a different kind of bougie.
I am middle class bougie. That is my sweet spot.
I am fine with a room in it. I ain't gonna lie. I don't need Four Seasons. I take it, but I'm not using that. I'm not defining that as my kind of bougie.
I think the king might need a butler one time for a turn down service.
At the Atlantis Bridge Suite, yeah, maybe.
I don't even know where this tangent's gone. Like I am lost. I took a wrong turn at Albuquerque on this.
I love the old school reference. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
You had a layover in Albuquerque.
Now, if you got a layover in ABQ, I don't know what the lounge game looks like at ABQ, but that is a sad salad and a half, I'm sure.
If you got a layover in ABQ, you just go to the rental counter and get out of there. Just rent a car.
You leave
and
the
get
second oldest city in the country alone.
I thought that was
That is
Santa
a
Fe.
fun fact.
Is it Santa Fe? There we go. You're right.
It's in that general vicinity.
Sorry, history nerd. Anyway,
The Spanish.
yay. All the gold and silver, and they actually destroyed the price of silver in Europe because of what they found here. Anyway, before we go down that tangent and that rat hole, I wish we had a rat hole button. Sorry, that's
Getting an iPad. We can start doing it. I got you.
Ooh, that's a weird Merlin Man reference. I'm sorry. All right, so we'll move over to our next question. Thank you so much, AP, for that. Don't worry, man. Just teach your kid how to travel. And if they want to learn, great. If they don't want to learn, just do your best. Trivago, Booking, those would be options to save some money somewhere, but no status or anything like that. Anyway, our next question comes from Kirby G. Speaking about status, are you interested in hitting any lifetime statuses? Delta Million Miler, Marriott lifetime status. Is there a program in which you had lifetime status? I'm going to just duck out of this real quick. Are there programs? Sure. Do I expect that I'm going to get any of those lifetime statuses anytime soon? No. Like the closest would be a Marriott lifetime status, like Marriott lifetime gold. That's going to be some work. I got to hold on to some credit cards for a couple of years. Do I want to do that? Not necessarily. So am I going to get it? Probably not. Lifetime diamond from Hilton would be amazing, but that's a 17-year commitment. That's a whole like relationship with Hilton. And that's a commitment. There are marriages that are shorter than that commitment.
Whoa, Matt. Whoa. You got
It's
a better
the
analogy
truth.
there.
I was gonna say that took a turn.
that
Nope.
That was kind of big.
You know what? I did that for Thick Boy. How about that? Anyway, now for me, not really. I'm going to book what I'm going to book. Loyalties may change. So, like, lifetime would be great, but I don't see it anytime soon. That's just me. But Lonnie, you're much closer to some lifetime statuses than I'll ever be. Are there lifetime statuses you want to hit?
I will say it like this. There's not like any that I'm desperately chasing for, but I will end up getting at least million miler with United. Shocker. I hit 2 million, 3 million, or 10. I don't know if we're going to get that high. But just because I know how many miles I currently have with United, in-flight miles, not frequent flyer miles, of course, you know how that works. I'm actually not that far off from million. I have not hit million miler yet, believe it or not. It's actually harder than you expect. The world is only so big. You got to fly a lot to get around it. But anyway, I'll most likely hit that one. Literally probably in the next year, maybe year and a half or so, 2 years or less, I'll definitely hit that one. It looks like the way things are trending. As for hotels, it would be nice, but as you had mentioned, I'm not chasing any of them. Like, I'm not actively trying to get a Marriott or a Hilton lifetime status, but I'm not actively trying to get a United one. It's just going to happen naturally, organically, if you will. But that'll be the only one I'm actually interested in. Once I hit a million miler status with United, it's only United Gold status that you get, by the way, which has its benefits because you get Star Alliance Gold when you hit United Gold. So it's instant lifetime for Star Alliance Gold. And I get to gift silver status to one other person, which means no matter what going forward, my wife would always have premier status as well, at least silver, which puts her on the upgrade list. And you get one companion on the upgrade list, which means my family of 3 will forever be on the upgrade list, no matter what type of status I get. So that's the reason why. But yeah, that's the only one.
Makes sense. Craig, any lifetime statuses you're looking for?
Yeah, not looking for, but capable of reaching, similar to Lonnie. It is so much harder to fly a million miles than you really think. And it also doesn't help that AA does not give those miles unless they are on AA metal. So all those One World Alliance partner flights, you are not getting status or miles with that. If I was traveling at the clip I'd been doing for the last 4 years, I would more than likely hit million miler in the next 3 to 4 years. But now that I'm slowing down, it's not looking good. It might be a decade. I'm somewhere around 600,000 or 700,000, somewhere in that ballpark. And when you sound, oh yeah, I fly 60,000 miles a year, that sounds like a lot. And then you realize 60,000 miles when compared to a million isn't that much. I actually have the days for Marriott Lifetime Gold. However, I do not have the years. So that's interesting. Because for Marriott, you have to have status for a certain number of years. And for gold status, it's 7 years. I think it's 5 years or 7 years. No, 7 years. Is it 5?
I thought for lifetime gold it was 5 years and 400 nights.
Yeah, because I'm at 416 nights for Marriott. But I've only got 3 years of status. So.
Oh, it is 7?
7 years? Yeah.
I just looked it up.
Yeah, that's right. Because I'll get silver next year. And I got 3 years of platinum status. That's why that's the thing. So I'll get silver status next year, which I don't think actually does anything for me. I think I get Wi-Fi and a bottle of water.
They don't spit on you with Marriott Silver. That's all you get.
Depending on who you're asking, that might be a perk.
If anything, I want them to have Jalen Carter spit on me at the very least, because he's not doing anything for a game.
Fair enough.
I don't want to get spit on at all.
That's fair.
Lame.
Craig, do you actually stay at home? It sounds like you spend 50% of your year in hotel rooms.
No, dude, that's why I really wanted a new job. I was very burned out. When I say the last 5 years, I have spent no less than 100 nights a year in hotels each year, with exception of 2020. It was rough. And when you don't have kids, it's this is awesome, because then you and your partner or your spouse, you can go and travel together. Once you add a kid to that mix, it's, hey man, I want to see my kid.
Yeah, that kind of changed up a lot of stuff.
But yeah, no. I'll say this: if they kept Marriott Lifetime Titanium as a thing, I might push towards that. But here's the other thing: I have no idea what Bonvoy status is going to look like in 10 years. They could Bonvoy us to Bonvoy hell in next year, and there's nothing we could do about it.
If
So
ever there was a program that just needed to be phoenixed, and I don't mean the city, I just mean burnt to the ground and re-risen.
yeah, 100%. So for me, the only ones that I will 100% get is Marriott Silver and AA Million Miler, which is just AA Gold, which is the lowest level of status, which only gets you get one free bag for you and eight companions, and you get if you are traveling with a companion, you are not on the upgrade list unless there are multiple open seats, and you only get upgrades within 24 hours of the flight. Yeah, not great. It's not a
Yeah,
fun
you got to
status.
do multiple millions with American Airlines to start getting like up that upgrade list.
At least two is nice because then you can book the extra legroom seats. But realistically, if you're going to go for heavy status, you want to hit three so you can get that Platinum Pro.
Now, this will be much easier when we start getting like American Airlines Galactic and United Galactic, and we start doing flights to the moon.
Boom,
That'll solve your million miler problem like that.
back and
And it'll
forth,
be
we're
the
good.
10 million miler program.
You know what? Enough trips to the moon. That's what Virgin Galactic should be working on.
And it'll be the first time that any man or woman or human has ever gone to the moon.
Don't.
Okay, I'm going to put
Just
myself in the
don't.
corner now.
I'm
I'll be
I'm
Tariq for the day.
I'm distinctly not wearing a specific city hat for you, and this is what you do.
I bought your hat. I just need to ship it.
Hit me up on Discord. All right. RJ, are you interested in hitting any lifetime statuses?
So I see status as a current thing. What do I currently care about? What am I currently invested in? Because, like we've said, we don't know what the statuses are going to look like. Like, I do not see a world in which Hilton is not important to my travel. But if in 3 years Hilton turns into Marriott, then I might just completely go to IHG, right? Or if IHG completely changes their program and it's not interesting to me, I might switch to something else. So I really see status as what do I currently care about? Again, like if Delta just pulls out of my local airport, my Delta status is no longer relevant. I'm going to have to look at either American or United. So I like the flexibility of caring about my status now so I can pivot if I need to. Again, am I worried about Delta, Hilton, or IHG? No, I think those will be fairly consistent and I'll be good for a long time. But if I'm not, then I'm not locked in. And no lifetime status doesn't lock you in, but there is effort to get there. There's usually a stay requirement on hotels. There's years into the program. There's all of that. With flying, like I fly for personal reasons. I have 25,000 miles a lifetime with Delta, something like that. Like a lot of my flights are short, right? I'm going to Atlanta, I'm going somewhere on the East Coast. So even if I fly fairly regularly, which I do, I'm flying shorter distances. I'm not flying super long distances. So it becomes this thing of just being nimble. Do I wish I could just buy the statuses I want? Do I wish I could just buy Hilton Diamond without having to have the Aspire? Yeah, that would be great. I love buying Ambassador with IHG because I get the thing I want. I have an IHG card now that gives me the same thing, but I get the thing I want. I do not have to worry about if next year, or the year after, or the year after that, Ambassador doesn't serve me, I can just stop paying for it. I don't have to cancel a credit card. I understand like why people like lifetime status because it takes some of the pressure off, but it also can be a little bit of a gilded cage in terms of you've invested so much time into this thing, even if the program suffers, you're locked in because of the time commitment, even if you're not really, but that sunken cost fallacy kicks in.
That definitely makes sense. Also, not a whole lot of there are airlines that offer lifetime like million miler will give you lifetime gold basically. Beyond Marriott and Hilton, I'm not sure of any other hotel chains that offer lifetime uh,
Hyatt.
lifetime status. Hyatt does have lifetime globalist. That's right. You need like a million Hyatt, not bonus points that you can like book with, but like a million Hyatt base points.
Yep. I wonder how close Keith is.
So point bookings don't count for base points. So there's that.
But spin does on your credit card.
Oh yeah, spend. Oh yeah, Keith, I'm sure has lifetime globalist, and I would be remiss without mentioning that. Yes, I understand that Marriott has its values outside of like the Bonvoy program. Like the points are valuable in and of themselves, and you can move them to airlines and get more value that way, and you can get up to 8 cents per point with Marriott points, like booking through airlines. No, the program still needs to be burned to the ground and re-risen as like something more useful.
I'll also say this lifetime status, unless they say, hey, you get a better transfer rate, the points don't really matter with the lifetime status. Like it could you purchase points or use points to then book things and have your status recognized? Sure, but just being realistic, if we're saying, oh, Bonvoy points suck, yeah, they truly do. But how much does that play into your lifetime status value? Because the real value there, yeah, you might earn more points, but that's only if you're spending cash, right? That's the one thing I will say, I wish Hyatt had a better footprint because the recognition that you get as a Hyatt globalist, even as me as an explorer, is awesome. It's just there's one every 35,000 locations that I go to visit.
Yep, I'm gonna break my gilded cage. Yeah, I forced that one. Anyway, thank you so much, y'all. Thank you, Kirby. Let's move to our last question for this week. In this coming from Garrett, who says, I went to dinner with some extended family this weekend. Apparently, I made a mistake, and this is about a week old. He went to dinner with some extended family. Apparently, he made a mistake when getting his sister and brother-in-law into the Points of Miles game. Bill comes and he's hoping to catch it with help with his current welcome offer. His sister snatches the check immediately. She saw him reaching for his wallet and says, "No, I have to buy plane tickets for 5 people. You just need to buy for one. I need the points more than you." My question is this: which should take priority, the person working on a welcome offer or the person who needs the points more? What's the etiquette? I will turn to RJ first for this one.
So I have a meta comment and then I have an answer to your question. My meta comment is I think this is a good question because we have to remember, and I talk about this a lot, but I want to say it here clearly. This is a hobby. It's like cars or guitars or records or fencing or archery. Like it's a hobby. And doing it in isolation can be great, but doing it as a community is better. That is why we have a podcast. That is why we have a Discord. That is why we all talk about this to people in our lives. The ability to make it a community is what partially makes all of this fun. If Lonnie could not talk to people about point stacking, he would still do it, but the energy would build up in him until he was talking to the head behind him and explaining to the stormtroopers how point stacking works. It would just naturally come out. It's just coming out to stormtroopers. So, like, building a community is good. Teaching your brother-in-law and your sister about point stacking is good because that is a place you guys can talk about and have common ground and maybe travel together and have experiences that you wouldn't have otherwise by doing this. That is a good thing. I know some people saw this question and were very like, it's getting in the way of things. I see it as more of a community thing, which I think is good. And as somebody who has invested heavily in building a community out of this thing, I wanted to say that comment first. Now, to the actual question, I think it's going to depend on a couple of things. If your sub ends in 3 days and you're the exact amount of the check away, then maybe they should let you have it. If they have to buy tickets for 5 people and it's a $2,000 bill because some Dom Perignon came out, sure, let them have it. Ultimately, dinner is not going to give you enough points to book 5 plane tickets or probably hit a sub unless you're super close to that date. but you should make sure you have headroom on any sub, because if things don't pend properly, some issuers get very irritated, and I've seen people miss subs because things that are pended just didn't clear. So, what's the etiquette? It's really going to depend on if you pick up every check and then and they just like Venmo you or whatever, and suddenly they're trying to get the check, then that's a jerk move. But if you go back and forth and it's their time, I don't care if you're hitting a sub or not. Like you should not be doing a sub at the last minute, so it should not matter. If it's $100 check for dinner, I'm sorry, it doesn't matter. Like it should not matter in the grand scheme of your subbing. So that would be my ultimate answer. It's really going to depend on what's going on. If I went to dinner with my co-hosts, we would probably all get our separate checks because we all have very different ideas of what card and what points we're going to use. And it would just be cleaner, right? Like it would be cleaner. Or I'm just like, yeah, guys, if you want to buy me dinner, I'll forego those points. I will give up my points to you guys. Please buy me dinner. That porterhouse looks exceptional and I don't want to pay for it. So there is that side of it too, right? Like chances are dinner is not going to make or break you. So have a community, talk about points, talk about hacks, talk about travel. Do not get too uptight about who pays for dinner, because that is not the point of this. The point of it is building a community, doing cool things. If you make it obnoxious, people are going to either just exclude you from that community. And I don't mean our community. I just mean like they'll just not talk to you about theirs. And that's a bridge that you now have lost. Or it just gets to the point where everybody is hurt because somebody took their 300 dining points that trip. So just figure out who would normally take the check and go from there.
Yep. Lonnie, your thoughts here?
Oh, so you remember earlier where I talked about that trustworthy person? Make sure you get your money back. Yeah, if my sister did that to me, I'm no longer that trustworthy person. As RJ mentioned, money over points. You want to pay the check? Okay. What you gonna do? You're not gonna let me babysit my nieces and nephews for you next weekend? Hey, I just won twice. Let's keep it going. Now, of course, I don't have the full scenario there, but I'll put it like this. There's no etiquette. There really is not. I would say don't make a scene in public. That's about as far as I would go. But there is no etiquette. There's no written rule somewhere like, I'm working on a sub, so I get first dibs to pay. No, there is none. So I actually love this because it reminds me of my family a little bit in the opposite way, where instead of my siblings reaching for the check, they're usually pushing it in my direction instead. Yeah. With or without points, my pushing it in my direction. But no, there is no true etiquette. But if she paid for the whole thing, my honest advice, and I am not being funny about this, is yeah, don't pay her back. Especially if she like, oh, you have a sub and I need to pay for I need these points. All right, you got them points and I got dinner. So thank you for that. And I will see you on Sunday. But great question. But no, there is no etiquette.
I don't necessarily think there's etiquette. Now, I do think that if you are doing like a large family dinner or something like that, you know that it's going to be a relatively large expense. If you're working a welcome offer and you have family who you've gotten into the points and miles game, you can let them know that you're working the welcome offer. Or if they're insisting on this, you could at least come to some sort of prearrangement before dinner, just so that you don't so that there's not a scene of the fight that sprung out over who's picking up the check. Nobody ever expects that fight. A couple weeks ago, we had a family dinner for my dad's birthday. I picked up a third of the check. My brother picked up a third of the check. My sister picked up a third of the check. We ended up just splitting it 3 ways. Now, I was more than willing to pick up the whole check and just have everyone pay me, but it wasn't much of an impasse, but it was basically like, well, we're all just going to pick up a third of the check. It doesn't matter. Offer half. If you're working on that welcome offer, depending on how many people were at this dinner now. I don't know how many people were at this dinner, but let's say the average dinner now is about $27 a head, right? You got 5 people at dinner, that's just north of $100. You got 10 people at dinner, that's $270 to $300. That's not including, that may include appetizers. It also depends on where you're eating. But like, I would say if you've gotten family involved in the points and miles game and you're all starting to go, like you're all going to dinner, have a point person, offer Venmo, offer like Venmo send and split. You'll still get point. I think you'll still get points with American Express, right? Because, oh, you don't? Okay.
You do
Never mind.
not. You just don't incur the wrath of Amex if you use it responsibly.
Oh, well, that's less useful. Because even like a point, like you'd still be getting like 100 points out of the dinner if you were putting up $100. But all right, so that's less useful. That's annoying. Pick your battles too. If it's family and one family member is insisting on paying because they've got to do plane tickets for 5 people. Okay, cool. You're either gonna pay them back later. You'll pick up the next dinner. If you're working, don't make a welcome bonus because for family drama. There will be other welcome offers. There will be other times if this creates a scene and then suddenly your family's going no contact with you because you had to pick up the check to get your welcome offer. Now, I'm not saying this is the case for Garrett, but don't let this become toxic. Don't let this become a toxic thing for you.
There will
That's
be
kinda where
other
I'm going.
welcome bonuses, though probably from my experience be other family dramas, so you do not need to put gasoline on that particular fire.
Yeah. Not trying to create the darkest of all timelines here. This is a concern for you beforehand. Iron it out beforehand. I'll pick up this dinner. You pick up the next one. You need to do this one. Okay, cool. That's fine. I will go out to dinner tomorrow night because they're picking up the check for tonight. You can go out somewhere else and get your welcome offer. Depending on what welcome offer it is, if it's the like a card that came out relatively recently and you're working 100,000 point welcome offer on it from, I don't know, a bank that rhymes with, what is a great way for it to rhyme without using the obvious one? Kitty. There we go. A bank that rhymes with Kitty, and you're working 100,000 point welcome offer. You still got time, man. It's gonna post. You're gonna be fine. Go out on a Saturday night. Get your 6 times points for their silly marketing. Brilliant, but silly. Yeah, that's what I'll say there. Pick your battles. This one ain't worth it. Family, family can be an explosive thing. Don't make it an explosive thing. Craig, any final thoughts here?
I just thought it was interesting that somebody else was offering to pay the bill. I am
That's just a
person that
foreign concept for you.
dude. Whether it's family or even friends, everybody just there's an awkward pause and then they look over and I was like, yeah, I got it. And then everybody goes, all right, yeah. So I was like, oh wow, other people pay bills for people? That's nice.
So the problem is they know that you're trying to get an invite to the Centurion card and they're just trying to push you along.
Yeah.
No.
They just say, you got a big dog? And I was like, really? Because put in perspective, I'm 20 years younger than my siblings. And they still will sit there and go, you mama's favorite. And I was like, what does that have to do with any of this? Y'all are grown adults.
Yeah,
So.
I'm the youngest in my family.
You've conditioned them, though.
Now,
because you keep picking it up. I would just go to the waitress before, pay for you, your wife, and your son, and be like, y'all figure it out. I paid for mine.
I know my family.
I'm an only child, though, so there is that.
Somebody would be washing dishes.
You don't know my family.
Yeah, somebody's either washing dishes or getting arrested, and that's not a good look for anybody.
Again,
me,
being an only child does color my experience with this question.
The one that gets me the most is when they use points and miles as the excuse. Oh, you want those points and miles? You should pay. Yeah, just put the card down. I'm never seeing that money again. This is why I don't. That's why I don't go out with y'all.
I love my big sister. She's a nurse, she's a late in life nurse, went back to school in her 40s, got her degree and all this. She is quick to say, "You went to that fancy school." And I was like, "What the hell does that have to do with anything? I got loans, baby. What are you talking about?" Yeah, no, it's a foreign concept to me.
That's fair. Yeah, if there's any etiquette, I would just say set it up beforehand. Get it. Just have an idea of what you're doing that night. But honestly, there will always be another welcome offer. There will always be another opportunity to pick up a bill. There will always be something else there. Don't let something as silly as this become a point of contention with your family. Because this is a silly hobby that we can get out of at any point. But
we won't.
family. No, we're going to stay in the silly hobby as long as we can. It's just you still have to see these people on Thanksgiving or Easter or Christmas or something. Unless you're willing to go no contact with your family because of points and miles, which would be a choice, and you're certainly welcome to it. I don't know that I would recommend this necessarily, but
I have a feeling if you're going
that is an option.
If you're going no contact with your family, the points and miles might have just been the straw that broke the camel's back, but it was not, in fact, the load of hay on the camel.
Oh, no,
I don't know. If you don't use my referral.
Oh, don't even get me started on that, especially with my in-laws. Dude, moving on.
See, there we go.
All I'm going to say is that there was a Springfield tire fire burning for a while before.
Literally, brother-in-law was like, "Oh yeah, we're finally getting into points and miles. Been watching all of Lonnie's videos and all this other stuff. I just applied for the CSR." I'm like, "Hang up on your brother," because I didn't get an alert. Hang up on your brother.
You watch the video and you clearly hear me say, "My links are in the description."
I put in. Thank you in advance if you decide. I put it in every single video for a reason.
Because no loyalty amongst these thieves.
Y'all are getting y'all profit off of the information. Some of us are putting it out there for free. It does not cost you anything to help pay it forward by paying back. Hang up on your brother.
Early contender for the title of this episode.
I tried to do a Soundgarden reference, tried to do some other things. Nope, Lonnie's just going to steal this title. All right. Thank you, Garrett, for that question. Thank you, everyone, for your questions this week. As always, check us out at stackyourpoints.com. You'll get a link to the Discord. You'll get our individual channels, Lonnie and mine. You'll get the podcast we release on Wednesdays and Fridays. We do a live on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. You should check it out. We always think, oh, maybe we only have 90 minutes tonight. And it always ends up being like 2.5, 3 hours because RJ and I don't know when to stop. So stackyourpoints.com for all of that. We also would like to take this time to highlight our diamond and new members. Our diamond members, as always, are Rick Spleen, Rupert Pond, Double Animal Fries, AP, Keith, and Mitch528. We have a new gold member this week. We had James Ragland sign on as a gold member this week, so thank you so much for that, James. And Seabass has rejoined as a silver member this week, going through the membership ads from the YouTube. If I missed you, I'm sorry. But if you want to become a member, you can always join at the Stack Your Points YouTube channel, various membership levels. Check those out and join our Discord and let us know your corresponding membership level when you do. So thank you so much, everyone. We will see you next week, probably with RJ a little bit heavier in her pocket with so much Apple stuff.